This is the new Wacom Intuos Pro Small, and today we're going to be reviewing it. The Intuos Pro Small was provided to me by the folks over at Wacom, but this is not a sponsored review, so as always, the opinions herein are my own. This drawing tablet fills a hole in Wacom's Intuos lineup. The large and medium Pros came out last year, and if you wanted a smaller, more portable version, you had to go with an older one or the entry-level Wacom Intuos. Now, it's here, the smaller version of the Intuos Pro. So what is this? It connects to your Windows or Mac computer, you draw on it in the live area of the tablet, and your lines show up on your computer screen in front of you. In the box, you have the tablet itself, along with Wacom's Pro Pen 2, a USB cord to connect it to your computer, also a handy pen holder to set on your desk. You can lay the pen across it, or you could just set it directly in it, and you can open up that pen holder, revealing a handful of extra pen nibs inside. I mentioned Wacom's Pro Pen 2. This is one of the major selling points of all of Wacom's Pro level devices. This pen has 8,192 levels of pressure sensitivity, and it's really a great pen to draw with. It's comfortable in your hand for long stretches. The pressure calibration feels great. Going from thin to thick lines feels very natural. So is changing the opacity of your brush with the pen pressure. Slow angled lines come off really crisp, as well as wave free as expected. And as always, the pen has tilt support as well. A couple weeks ago, Wacom released the Pro Pen Slim, which works on all of these new Pro devices, including this one. So if you do want a lighter pen that's a little slimmer, you've got that option available to you. The drawing surface of the tablet feels pretty good. It's got a nice texture to it, but it's a very subtle texture. It gives you plenty of control, but I wouldn't describe it as rough, or not as rough as some of the other devices that I have used. I always felt in control of the pen while drawing, and that's what's important. You also have 6 customizable hotkeys along the side and a scroll wheel for zooming in and out or changing your brush sizes. The overall build quality feels premium. It does feel a little heavier than other tablets like this that I've used. That's probably because there's a battery inside. You need that for the wireless Bluetooth connectivity. The non-Pro Intuos tablets are really light, but this one here weighs a little under a pound. One of the features that sets the Pro apart from the standard Intuos lines are the touch features. On some of the screen-based tablets, I end up turning this off because I find that it gets in the way. It's the same here. It's a nice addition, but from time to time, I get a ghost touch. It doesn't happen a lot, but it's enough for me to not really want to have to deal with it, and I end up toggling that feature off. Fortunately, that toggle switch is located along the side of the tablet. And it's nice that this can be done from the tablet itself instead of having to jump in and dig through settings whenever you want to toggle it on and off. I briefly mentioned before that this tablet can be used wirelessly, and that is another big benefit here is the Bluetooth connectivity. It can be used via USB cable, but you'll need to plug it in every few weeks, maybe days, if you use it nonstop in order to recharge it. One thing to note is that it doesn't recharge quickly over the USB cable. It does take a couple hours to reach full charge. Another nice touch are Wacom's settings. In a lot of ways, they're very similar to other manufacturers' settings that I've played with, but this feels so much more elegant and thought through from a UX perspective. It feels like you can adjust just about everything, like the speed that you could zoom in and out of on the scroll wheel, or you can make application-specific shortcuts. And it's little things like that that make it feel like the tools are fitting your workflow instead of you having to change your workflow to fit the tools. So the one thing that really stood out to me when I was using this device was the size. Disclaimer, this is definitely a preference thing. Some people are gonna love the small size. I personally would rather go with, say, a medium-sized tablet instead. I've said this multiple times. I figure it's probably a good idea to dive a little bit deeper instead of just sitting here and going, meh, I like it better. So last week I did a review of the Huion HS610. I used it for about a week, posted the review just a couple days ago, and I would define that as more of a medium-sized tablet. I'm also used to drawing on a screen, looking directly at the screen so I can see exactly where my line is made. So it does take me a little while to get used to drawing in one place while looking ahead of me and seeing where the line appears on a different screen. And over the years, I've gotten way better about using tablets like this. My eye-hand coordination has dramatically improved. And I also got used to using Huion's medium-sized drawing area. In the couple days that I used the Intuos Pro, I never really got used to that smaller space though. It just always felt cramped, especially when I was using it on my iMac's really big screen. It was a little bit better on my laptop where I film most of the background footage you see here. Now, part of this is that I have been teaching my myself how to draw, which is a weird thing to say on an art review channel. I've been going back to art school and I've been learning a lot of the proper ways to draw because a lot of the stuff I've drawn up to this point are cartoons. And part of that is learning how to draw with my arm instead of with my hand. Before, I was drawing a lot with my wrist, a lot with my fingers, and it's just much harder to get a straight line because your wrist bends in an arc, your finger doesn't have the same level of articulation to it, things like that. And of course, on a smaller tablet, if you're drawing with your hand, you're gonna naturally draw a lot larger than you are if you're just kind of drawing with your fingers. And so what I ended up finding is that I was falling back into a lot of the same things that I was doing before I started retraining my hands and arms. Because in order to fit what I was doing in that tiny space, I didn't have the room to do, you know, those larger movements that I've gotten used to doing. So in general, it was taking me a lot more time to get used to this because I also felt like my lines were getting sloppier and looser while I was doing it. But as I said before, this is definitely a preference. If I'm going to use something like this, I'm probably going to stick with a medium-sized Intuos over, say, one of the smaller ones. It's time for pros and cons. The first pro is the Pro Pen 2 itself. This is always going to be a big advantage for Wacom. Even though the competitors have gotten better, this pen is a step ahead. With drawing tablets, you're always going to have stories about drivers conflicts or people having trouble setting them up. In my experience, Wacom has given me the least amount of trouble over the years in this area. I also feel that the settings are a big pro. Just the level of granularity and the user experience and what they've been doing with their Wacom Center thingy-mabob. I don't know what it's called, but I feel that their software has been improving over time, and that's really benefit to the user. What about the cons? I think I'm gonna put the main one here, which is the one I say with every single Wacom device, which is the price. For what it is, the Intuos, specifically the Intuos Pro line, is way more expensive than everybody else out there, but you're getting more for it. You get things like Bluetooth connectivity, so you can go wireless. You get things like the touch gestures and stuff like that on the tablet. Some people are gonna like that. Some people aren't gonna need that. It really comes down to what you want. A lot of people are willing to pay the price because they know they're getting something premium and they're willing to pay for that. The Intuos line specifically has a reputation for durability. There's people who will always comment on these reviews and say, I've been using my Intuos 3 for 10 years and it still works great. I have no reason to upgrade. Wacom tends to have a really strong brand loyalty with people who've been around for a while. Over the last couple weeks, I've had the opportunity to watch a bunch of Aaron Rutten's reviews, and he really likes Wacom's pens, and he really breaks down the difference between what Wacom's doing compared to what XP Pen or what Huion's doing, and those subtle differences that makes him really like Wacom's pen technology. For me personally, I'm okay with taking a step down, going over to the Huion that I reviewed the other day, or even the Wacom Intuos Medium, the non-pro one, just to save a little money. It really comes down to preference and what you need to do the art that you need to do. Also, if you're interested in a drawing tablet like this, but you want to see what some of the other ones out there are like, I've compiled all the reviews I've done over on my website. I'll put a link down in the description for that. So that's all I've got for today. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any comments or questions, let me know down below in the comment section, and I will see you in a couple of days.